Hello, everyone. Welcome to YakShaver Spring Review, Spring 95. For the last spring, we have get lots of done. Let's get into it. So, the spring goal for the last spring was finalize remaining OAuth 2 implementations. Unfortunately, this was not done. There was a small issue on the YouTube OAuth implementation. We will get into more details later. And also for the more canary testers, it's partially done because we just don't have so many people being tested because we had a very short spring last week. That's due to Australian Day. So let's get into more details. So in the last sprint, we have Baba and Wheeler on full time, and the rest of the team in Australian. They had a Australian holiday, Australian Day. So they had 1 day off. And speaking of the PBIs, we have very interesting feature that Wheeler has implemented. It's automated meeting summarizer. Do you want to give some details, Wheeler?
Yeah, sure. So this one is to run the clock stats automatically. So when there's a meeting ends or the recording ends, we have the transcript, it will trigger to run the clock CLI automatically to run this to generate the dashboard. And after it's done, it will send the link back to the teams for the people who have joined this meeting. Yeah, you can scroll down a little bit. There's a screenshot of these notifications.
So we call this project Tiger. Do you want to introduce what does Tiger mean?
The Tiger is for the transcript intelligence and something I can't remember.
Right.
Group event.
Reduce
something or other.
Reduce acronym.
Yeah, so the name is come from Callum. Very interesting name. But this feature is very good. And
yeah, so just to quickly summarize that, basically this was a process that I was manually doing at the end of every meeting. I would manually download the transcript and produce the Claude summary. But what Willow has done is basically automate the whole thing. So once the meeting's over, it'll automatically pick up the transcript and automatically produce the dashboard. And that is currently in the beta testing phase. I think, Willow, you've got it live, but there may just be a couple of minor bugs to work out.
Has this worked for anybody yet?
There is currently a minor bug that needs to be worked out. Willow was able to run it successfully in testing, but we tried to test it on this very meeting and it didn't work because of a permission issue.
Yeah, right. I will check that permission issue later, but the process is working.
Right. So so what you were hoping for at the end of this meeting, when it stopped, it would automatically email team members with a link. Is that it?
Well, it does what you can see on the screen here. So once you're finished, it has the first message. It says Tiger is now processing your meeting. Please wait. And then after a few minutes, once it's ready, it says your meeting analysis is ready. Here's the link. And then you click that.
Okay. And what's the logic of why this is in YakShaver? YakShaver listens to you speak and makes a PBI.
Yeah, so it's currently not actually incorporated inside the YakShaver application. The reason why we logically grouped this work with the YakShaver team was that I felt conceptually YakShaver, the Teams app at least, responds to Teams webhooks and then does actions based on them. And that's sort of the same thing we're doing here. And so what I imagined was that in the future, you could configure this inside the YakShaver dashboard. You know, maybe you'll tick a box somewhere that says, yep, for this project, give me a summary dashboard at the end of their sprint meetings or something like that. And then, you know, it could be run by YakShaver, but we haven't sort of pulled the trigger on that decision yet.
Right. Okay. So, how do you explain to people that YakShaver's job is to listen and produce this? And now it's doing this thing that feels like it's related, but kind of, should it be a separate tool altogether, or make
Yeah,
sense?
potentially. That's a discussion I'm happy to have at any time. Maybe not now in the
Yeah, sure.
sprint summary, but yeah, I'm not married to the idea that it should be. I just made sense for Willow to do it as part of the YakShaver team, but whether it ends up in the YakShaver product is another question.
All right. And how does Willow make sure that she now rolls this out to each team? Does she need to keep track of all the teams, what's going on, so she can do this?
I think Willow will be able to control which teams run it or don't run it based on her own config for now.
Yep.
Obviously, we'll need to either incorporate it into YakShaver and it becomes part of the YakShaver dashboard to control that, or if it's a separate product, roll out some sort of separate dashboard to control it. That's to be determined.
All right. So, all right. From here, Willow, do you want to record a done video, or do you want to get Callum to do that for you, or Bubba, or someone?
I will do a done video for this.
Okay. All right. When you do that, get a check by Bubba and then call me together.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Good. Nice one.
Let's move on. Next, we have Baba's OAuth implementation. Baba, do you want to give some details about this one?
Yeah, sure. So the last remaining work for MCP OAuth was adding refresh token logic. It's done, and MCP OAuth secured now. And next part was doing the same for YouTube OAuth. We have deployed to production, but in our testing, authentication wasn't successful. So currently we are investigating YouTube OAuth with Steven.
Yeah. Any questions about this one? Okay, let's continue. So next we have Tom's add a few templates MCP tool for LM powered template feeding. Do you want to give some details about this?
Sure, yes. So before using the YakShaver MCP tool, we had our system prompt, which was responsible of taking the templates and filling in the placeholders. But we had every now and then some issues. The templates, they weren't fully followed, or some placeholders were not filled out. So what we did was we created a new internal MCP, which sole task is basically to fill the placeholders and make sure that the templates are filled out properly. That is now available, and when I tested it, the resulted PBIs, they followed perfectly the existing templates. So I tried it not only with new features and PBIs, but also with different templates that we have on the repository, like documentation template and bugs and features, and we have, I think, a few more. So yeah, so from now on, the templates or the new created PBI should follow the templates. Do you have any questions on that, Adam?
No, all good.
Okay,
Very good.
let's move on.
So hey guys, I'm back. Sorry, I had a call from Stefan and Anna, so I had to take it. All right, so is that saying that the PBIs are going to be more similar now on the desktop version to the web version?
What it's saying is we're now going to follow the template, the issue templates in the GitHub repository properly, because we're having some issues with reproducing that faithfully before.
For both the desktop and web versions, or which one are we talking about?
The desktop app works by looking up the issue templates in the GitHub repository and then creating issues based on those templates. The web version, that was the Teams version, is unchanged from how it previously worked.
Okay. How did it previously work?
Well, we had a YakShaver template, and every issue was created based on the YakShaver template, regardless of what the issue templates of the specific repository were.
So that means the Teams version does not use the GitHub templates.
Correct.
Can't be right.
Why not?
It was
I
in the
mean-
backlog. I don't think we ever did it.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
obviously it was a lot easier to do it once we had the GitHub MCP, and we can just use that to look up the template.
Right. Okay. Wow. So they're always going to be out of sync, and depending which tool you use will give you a different issue.
Well, you would
Absolutely,
use
they're
one
already
or
very
the
much
other
out of
tool.
sync. They're already very much out of sync because you can do whatever you want with GitHub. Well, not GitHub MCP, with MCP servers in general, right? We've moved far away from the legacy YakShaver model already.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, let's back to the email. That's the key PBIs that we have done. Any questions about these PBIs or any details you want to know about these PBIs? Okay, let's move on then. Next, I will hand over to Baba to discuss about the code coverage and also the production release.
Sorry, really
so-
quick question. Canary deployment. Have we finished that? Like, are we ready to just give it to everyone now? Like everyone
Oh.
internally?
We are still doing canary testing, and they are still giving our feedbacks. And for the next sprint, we have included some of the PBIs that are created by the canary tests. So we are going to improve our YakShaver app one more sprint, I guess.
Yeah, I think as long as we're still finding more stuff to fix in the canary testing, it's worthwhile continuing.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And yeah, once
Okay,
we get a
and the
sprint
other
where
question I
no
had
one
was-
has any issue, then we can do that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. The other question I had was at the moment, my own usage, I'm still only using the Teams version because it has all the projects, whereas desktop was only for YakShaver, for other projects. So when will I be able to do it on other projects? Or is that not currently?
That's the next priority after the YouTube security stuff is sorted out.
Okay, all right, sorted. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you. So next, I will hand over to Baba to give us some introduction to the code coverage and the production release.
Okay. Thank you, Steven. In terms of code coverage, it remains same at 28.5%. And in terms of deployments, we had 4 production releases for Teams app and 3 production releases for desktop app.
Is there a reason that there is more on the Teams app? I'm not complaining, I'm happy, but I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
If your focus seems to be on MCP, how come there's so many deployments on Teams?
The Teams including the backend API as well. So
so when you need the backend and change,
yeah.
So it's not really for Teams, it's really for the API.
Yeah, it's the API.
Yes,
so when
because we have made several changes to API for supporting authentication for MCP and YouTube in our backend.
Okay.
Any questions?
Right.
Okay, cool. Let's move on. And for the application health, last week we had almost 100% availability. We can see a little bit spike on the 27th. That was because a database timeout. It happens every now and then, but since it's recovering itself, we didn't pay too much attention on this. But I think Rick has mentioned in the retro, we need to start to be more careful about these exceptions or timeouts. I think Rick will give some details later. And speaking of the usage, Tina is still on the leaderboard, on the first of the leaderboard, and followed by Baba and Yuli. Good to see Yuli come back on the leaderboard.
Thank you.
And next, I will hand over to Wheeler to discuss about the roadmap and also the backlog states.
Sorry, those stats, they're not the MCP version, are they?
They include both
Right, they're both.
MCP and
So we're not showing the numbers of both on this UI, or should we show the numbers of both?
They are including both as long as you're logged in on the MCP.
Right.
there's a
So
PPI.
shouldn't we in the faint writing underneath the number, could we put the 2?
Yeah, there's a PBI for that.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
That should be pretty easy to do, right? Maybe we can squeeze that into this sprint, because I do agree that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, okay. I will add them to this sprint after this meeting. So I'll hand over to
Just
Baba.
quickly, is that going to make sense to another? Like any client won't be using both, right? They'll just be using one or the other. So is that going to make sense to them? Like, can we make sure the UI is like, if they're only using one, it doesn't have that?
Maybe you can show the total and also have a breakdown, like brackets or something, show Teams and MCP.
If there is a breakdown, but if there is no breakdown,
Yeah.
if they're only using one, they don't have any brackets.
Yeah,
Yeah, makes sense.
if the usage is all in one or the other, just don't show any breakdown.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, hand to you, Wheeler.
Yes, Stephen. For our product roadmap, the YakShaver Agent 2.0, we have up 4% increasement, and there's nothing changes for other parts. And we can scroll down to the backlog stats. Yeah, for the YakShaver, we have 59 new PPIs, and 69% of them are labeled with YakShaver. And we have completed 36 in the last 30 days. And for the YakShaver desktop app, we have 98 new PPIs, and 86% of them are labeled with YakShaver. And yeah, that's basically all for the backlog stats. Any questions for this part?
98 new PPIs in the last 30 days feels like a lot of PPIs. Are we doing a lot of testing at the moment? Is that why?
Well, we are doing our canary testing, so I imagine it's somewhat related to that.
Okay. All right, because the backlog's grown by 53. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Are we allocating any of these PPIs to AI to complete? You know, to Claude Code or GitHub Copilot or whatever?
I think we came across a couple that I suggested should be, but yeah, I do think that should be the default, that we let Copilot have a stab at it. And if it turns out that it hasn't done a good job, we can always just ignore what it did and do it ourselves anyway, right?
When you ask for somebody to take a stab at it, did they take a stab at it?
It was during the meeting, so I don't think we've had a chance to do it yet.
Oh, okay. So you're starting to do that. So, all right. So does everyone on the team agree that at least in the next sprint, give it a go to throw it over to Copilot?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Student? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, could we just do it in sprint planning right now? Can we just allocate all of them to Copilot immediately and then tomorrow see how they did?
Yeah, why not? At least the easy ones, like the obvious things, put a breakdown on the leaderboard if there's a split between MCP and Teams app usage. That should be an easy one that we can get an AI to do, no question. Maybe some of the harder stuff it's not going to do as good a job on, but yeah, I don't see why we can't just put them all on Copilot and just see what happens. And if nothing else, it would be a useful thing of what not to do if it doesn't work. You know, you'll still get something out of it, hopefully.
And clean up.
Can I get your opinion on
200
your
branches.
suggestion to throw every single item on the backlog into Copilot and see what happens?
Why not?
During sprint planning.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're going to spend a lot of time checking its work.
Oh, of course, because you don't want any crap in there.
Yeah.
But right, and so, okay.
I guess it can't hurt.
All right.
I thought you had traumatized on AI generated code.
Yeah.
I have a short-term memory.
It can hurt because if you're letting AI do all of the PBIs and you're going to be checking all of them, and let's say more than 50% of them are bad, then you lost time on checking them and re-implement them. It's not efficient and you're wasting tokens. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, I think we do need to record that we tried this in Copilot and it wasted our time, and why we shouldn't. Because I wouldn't have done what Yuli suggests. I would have started with the little ones and checked that it was doing little ones well, like UI ones. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you go for the big ones just to see. Sometimes the big one will go through and it'll find just a couple of lines of code to change, and it's easier to review. And maybe I'm completely wrong.
But is GitHub Copilot has got enough
it.
grunt? Has GitHub Copilot got enough grunt, or do we need to give this to Claude Code with Opus? Like,
I don't know. That's why it's an
because
experiment.
I just FYI, I've been giving some tasks to Copilot this week, and I think 2/3 of them went through, and 1/3 of them didn't. Like, as in Caleb had to do one himself, and the other two he just approved. So I don't know. Like, it's not going to work always, but I'm wondering if GitHub Copilot's strong enough.
Maybe we can leave this discussion after the summarize meeting.
It seems an important discussion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
it is a planning discussion. It makes sense to make that decision with the context of what we're planning to actually try and do.
In my opinion, I think Yuli's probably right in that it's definitely not going to get all of them, but I think why not experiment and find out how much can it get, and the only way to do that is just to assign them all to Copilot and see what happens.
Okay, let's try it.
The only caveat I have with that is we're doing some work around security, right? And maybe we don't trust it with security stuff yet.
Well, ideally, none of having full access to the code shouldn't have any issue, because it'll just be the secrets that are secure, not the code. So it shouldn't be a problem.
More that we're working on OAuth stuff. And maybe we're paranoid about that being exactly right. We want to handcraft it. I don't know. Not sure. Up to you.
Well, even if you want to handcraft it, you can still have Copilot do something and either take it or leave it as a starting point. Up to you.
Yeah, true.
Okay, do you want me to start to sign them or sign them after the meeting?
Oh,
just to sign it now.
Really? Sign it right now?
What, the 300 backlog items that we have?
No, just the ones in the sprint.
Okay, let's just do an experiment on this one. It looks like a mission and see how it goes.
Okay.
We should, with the MCP, have a toggle where we can say new PBIs that we record through the MCP app will be automatically assigned.
Do you need to say anything? Like, all the information is in the PBI. It doesn't have the transcript, but it's been converted, so it should be good enough. I guess now we know Copilot is using this. It matters more how YakShaver converted the PBI.
It does.
Just not should be. I would just say CPBI. Like, I don't think you need to say anything.
You don't even need to say CPBI because it should be looking at the PBI already.
Okay.
So I don't think you need to write anything.
Or just assign straight away.
I would do a little bit of backlog refinement of the sprint and make sure that it's very explicit what each PBI wants to happen. You know, because sometimes you assume that the human reading it is going to fill in the blanks. Just make sure there are no blanks before you assign it.
Yeah, so it's already, I think it's already starting working. We can have a look later on this one.
Sure.
Let's go back to the email. And next, I'll hand over to Tom to discuss about the IND and AI tools and also the tenant stats. And
so Willow worked and tried to figure out how to automatically get Claude Code to respond to meeting webhooks through Teams. And I started looking at Electron and how to record the system audio because we currently have a few issues around it where it doesn't pick up sounds. For example, if we play YouTube videos in the background, or if someone joins through a Teams meeting and we record that sound through Teams is not being picked up. So worst case scenario, we have to write a virtual driver, but hopefully it's not getting down this path.
Next, AI tools.
Yeah, and the AI tools, there hasn't been much change there. Open code, yes, I've been playing around with open code for the last week and this week. Baba started using Tray and Gemini 3 Flash.
That was open code, not open claw, right?
Open code, yes. It's a CLI agent that's free and open source.
I thought I heard something about it getting shut down, but maybe I got that wrong.
I think that was
were-
cursor access in open code, right?
That's what it was, yeah.
Sorry, Claude access in open code.
Yeah.
Stats, please.
And man, I should have brought my glasses.
Okay, this.
Yes, that's much better. It's less glare. And then we have now the 10 stats from last week. These ones do not include any SSW stats. So the total number of tenants this week should be stayed the same. So there was no change. We had last week 4 tenants that completed the setup. This week there was no change. That this week we didn't have time to contact any of those tenants as we were working through some issues and some client emails that we received.
I need to pause you there because I say this at each sprint. It's so important to touch base with the customers each week. Just
That isn't true. We've contacted one at least that I
This
was
week?
related with at least. Yep, this week.
Oh,
Today,
yeah.
in fact.
Okay.
So we need to assign this to a person on the team. Before it was Lewis, who's now off the team, working on client work. So somebody should be picking that up. Is there anybody that is happy to do that?
One thing we need as well, not only assigning a person, we need some escalation plan, because if we send emails out and they don't react to that, what are the next steps?
Well, you have most of these people on Teams. So you're just saying, look, I noticed that you didn't shave any yaks, or saw you shave 6 this week, or last week. That's good. How's it going? That's all you have to do so that they know, so you know what's blocking them. You're just trying to learn why they're not using it. Are you happy to do it, Tom?
I'm on client work on Monday next week
Right. Okay. See you.
with Lewis.
Okay. So
But I don't know
I
if we
can,
have
I can
all
do
of
it if
them
no
on
one else
Teams.
has any time.
We have some of them on Teams, but we have a lot only through email. Like,
oh well, then you can email them and you can set up. OpenClaw to do it for you. Anyone set up OpenClaw?
open what?
OpenClaw.
Yes, I did during the weekend.
You did?
Yeah.
Great.
Uh,
Get it to do that for you.
I just tested. I didn't actually sign any
Start it.
test.
Who is a customer of YakShaver that would like a follow-up and see if it gives you the right answer? Test it.
Yeah, I tested it during the weekend, but I didn't know how much token it would consume for a task. So
Oh, okay.
I just assigned a trivial task and see how it goes. And it seems good.
Anyway, what I'm trying to emphasize is you got to talk to customers. You got to find out why they're not using YakShaver. If you don't want to fix what's blocking them, that's fine. But if you don't know what's blocking them, then that's a problem. You got a bunch of people on YakShaver, they're not using it like us. You should ask them why. Can you do it?
Me? Yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
hint
yeah.
to someone because you could see you're going to let Callum do it. He's the busiest person on the team.
I can do it. Yeah, I can do it. So thanks, Tom. And next, let's move to the Copilot stats. Where it's not Copilot stats, it's the Claude stats and also the Copilot stats.
So should we do Claude first?
Yeah, just for this image, I think I've got to update this one. But I don't want to spoil the dashboard. So let's talk about this later. And then let's talk about the Copilot first. Back to you, Callum.
Yep. So the Copilot stats, they indicate that Stephen was the most talkative during the meeting, closely followed by me. Tom was sort of more sporadic in his utterances. Baba far more spread out. He had his moments, but a lot more gaps between. And then Willow sort of in a similar boat as Baba. And that's it. Then regarding, where's the question that we asked Copilot?
The question about what's the main thing delivered in the past sprint?
Yeah, so the main thing was the so-called Project Tiger meeting summarization pipeline, which is in the live beta testing phase and soon to be rolled out to all internal projects. And then the next action point, if you could be so kind as to scroll down. Oh, there isn't a next. Isn't there one where we, oh, that's in the next meeting, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, it's in the planning email.
All right, so I'm mixed up. Let's open up the Claude dashboard, shall we?
Yeah, and also, do we want to do sprint retrospective first before we open that up?
We're teasing the audience. We're going to keep hinting the Claude dashboard. We're not going to show it yet. So the retrospective, what went well? So Project Tiger is in live beta testing. Nice work, Willow. Yep, that's very cool. And then Willow sort of agreed with me. Obviously getting that running. Hopefully it works for the sprint review meetings. There's a minor kink in that at the moment that we need to work out, but should be up and running shortly. And Baba noted that the MCP auth is completed and secrets removed from desktop, which is awesome. What didn't go well? So Stephen said the application for Apple certificate has been blocked for a week. So no progress on the Apple certificate, which obviously is a bit of an annoyance for any Apple users of YakShaver desktop, as they need to jump through a few extra hoops before it will allow them to run the application. In what needs to improve, Tom said the beta Tiger reports using the critical analysis prompt should be internal only. This can have a negative commercial impact to SSW. So Tom has some thoughts about not going over the Claude dashboard in public YouTube videos. And I think that's a discussion yet to be had with Adam. Something else that I wanted to mention, actually, since I feel like we should say one more thing, was one of the things I was working on this sprint was creating a TimePro MCP server. And I was testing out recording a daily Scrum video and then shaving it into a timesheet. So you can, record a 2-minute video saying, yesterday I did this, today I'm doing that. And then YakShaver can look through your Git commit history or your issues or pull requests or whatever, plus whatever you showed it in the video, and then create a TimePro timesheet with the link to the video, which seems like a cool thing to do for clients or whatever, to show them what you've done and also not add much work on top of doing a regular daily Scrum. And I'm hoping next week to add on some sort of email, so it could also send out the daily Scrum email as well. And I'm encouraging everyone on the YakShaver team to come up with some more cool ideas for how else we can use YakShaver. And that's it for the retro. Any questions on that before we move on?
Well, I will respond to one of those ones. So there's an item there where Tom doesn't like the reports coming out of Claude. Look, I know it says some silly things. I think it's just like anything, just with people. People can give you different feedback on something, and you take the bits that you like and you ignore the bits you don't. I think it's the same thing with AI, you know, giving you feedback on a meeting. Take the bits you like and ignore the rest. Like, you know, AI is. I found in other meetings, in other sprints that we do, that it brings up a topic which I didn't know was a thing, and I found it interesting. I don't think it's really possible to be properly offended by AI saying something silly.
This is not the point I'm making there.
What's the point?
That this is potential damaging to SSW if clients see that and take it either out
Well,
of
this isn't
context,
clients, this is external community. And if
they can,
and if
potential clients can get to that, right?
oh,
Because it's public.
Yes, there's nothing in any projects that we do at SSW that I wouldn't be open with if there wasn't confidential things for other clients. Clients' stuff is confidential.
I think it goes beyond confidentiality. It goes legal, HR, potentially.
I'm sure you can have all these potential problems, but you know, you've got to weigh up the benefits of open source or developing in the open or developing, in a closed manner. There's pros and cons of both. You know,
yeah, of course.
I think we're all pretty smart, and if we did something that we don't think is good or there's a better way of doing things, we'll call it out and we'll improve. And I'm sure you'll look over old sprint reviews and go, wow, that wasn't great. We could do things much better now. But we're using the collective intelligence of ourselves, and we critique each other all the time. Every single piece of code that we ever write has a pull request, so everything has a second set of eyes. We're doing the best we can. And some people watch these videos and say they're awesome. Some people would watch them and say, yeah, they're not awesome. Yeah, you can't please all the people all of the time. That's the reality. All right, let's keep going.
Okay, let's move on to the planning. So for the next sprint, we are aiming the sprint goal is to complete the YouTube OAuth 2 configuration. And the key PBI for the next week is, of course, the YouTube integration, YouTube authentication integration. And also we added the audio fix issue, the audio issue that bring up by the Canary test on old Mac version, and also the camera issue as well. So we have the action point from the Copilot. Helen, could you introduce this, please?
Absolutely. So the main thing planned for the next sprint is to finish the YouTube and OAuth security blockers so YakShaver is testable outside of SSW. And obviously that's been our top priority for the last 3 sprints. So I'll be very happy to see the backside of this one.
Okay, cool. That's the end of the planning. Next, we have a teasing status from Claude. That is the AI stats.
Yes, all appropriate disclaimers, of course. This is merely a joking dashboard. None of this is to be taken seriously or personally. And if you are offended, please email info@SSW with your complaints. All right, so what have we got in here? Meeting summary. The YakShaver team delivered significant automation feature, which was the meeting summarizer. but struggled with OAuth issues, stakeholder blockers, and process erosion. Meeting ran 17% over time. Strong participation from senior members, but quiet contributions from developers who delivered key features. And I guess we'll dig into that in a sec. A few key decisions there. I think that's pretty much what we've already covered. Can you scroll down, please?
Yeah.
Let's look at the hard truths, shall we? So Stephen said, a stakeholder has been unreachable for a week for a 5-minute task. To quote, even 5 minutes, he won't give me 5 minutes, which reveals a systemic escalation failure. Any more comments on that one, Stephen?
Yeah, I did mention that.
Did Stephen say that he came to the stakeholder unprepared with what options and he was going to learn on the fly? So I definitely spent more.
That wasn't included in the quote. He may have said it. Maybe taken out of context.
I went to him and I spent 15 to 20 minutes trying to work out what was there. Then I went away and researched, and then he was busy. Then he wouldn't give me 5 minutes. Yes. Yes.
The first time I came with Rob.
Yeah, unprepared. And you're reading all the dialogues on the fly.
Yes, because
yes. I'm sitting there waiting for you to read all this stuff, like my computer. Yeah.
There you go. So a valuable conversation starter from the AI summary dashboard already. What else have we got? Features are being deployed to production without verifying their work. So the YouTube OAuth was discovered to be broken after the deployment due to wrong configuration on Google Portal. Now, was that something that we could have picked up in testing, or was that something that was only broken in production and it worked on staging? I believe the latter, right?
Correct. So someone forgot to update the keys, the new keys and secrets on production.
Oh, that's why it didn't work. So it wasn't a coding thing.
Right. So it did work on staging fine, and I guess that's a tricky one to pick up.
Who was the
but hopefully no one is going to judge the reputational risk of SSW based on that.
That's right. Would that someone be about the size of Stephen Q?
No.
No.
It was Copilot.
It was about the size of Willow? No. Rick? Bubba?
Look, it was a team thing. Obviously, the team takes ownership of everything that gets committed to the main branch, right?
That was our experiment. We assigned it to Copilot, and Copilot didn't have access to it.
And now we got someone we can blame all the time.
Just blame Copilot.
Yeah. All right. Good.
All right. Next tab. So a look at the timeline. The timeline seems to roughly line up with the Copilot timeline, at least in overall numbers. It looks like the highlight of the sprint was the automated meeting summarizer demo from Willow. And yeah, I think that was probably the coolest part of the sprint for me. We had a bit of a time waste about metrics, AI tool discussion, and Epic Overflow, according to Claude. Analysis of time wastage, 36 or 38 minutes rather was wasted apparently. So that's good to know. A bit of time wastage. Although I think that's probably one of the things we can ignore from the AI, because you don't want a 100% efficient meeting where no one has any time to say anything that isn't strictly important, I think. So I would ignore that statistic and not take that personally. What's on the next tab? People and roles. So the team dynamic. So a functional Scrum team with clear roles. Stephen facilitates. Callum provides product direction. Developers execute. Communication is respectful with low conflict. However, meeting is heavily weighted towards status updates rather than problem solving, and participation is uneven.
Not very good. It didn't pick up the conflict with Tommy and I, did it, Tommy?
Well, that happened afterwards.
Oh, we didn't. Oh, I see. Okay.
That wasn't recorded.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Not yet.
The next one.
Power dynamics. Oh, you scroll past the power dynamics.
This is a little one for you, Willow. I think it's unnecessary to have the decimal place in these percentages. Can you just change it so it just has 36%, not 36.2? I find that unhelpful. I doubt if it's that accurate.
Words.
That should be a simple prompt update. Please round all figures to not have decimal points, I guess. Anyway, so Stephen was the Scrum Master and Facilitator. He obviously spoke the most. He scored a 7 out of 10, and he did a good job of driving meeting forward, taking ownership of follow-ups and proactive investigation. And of course, he had his honest frustration about a blocker. Callum, 9 out of 10, highest value. Well, I don't want to toot my own horn too much. I don't think I'd really provide that much value, but my notable quote was, "That's a very exciting feature. Well done, Willow."
Pause.
That was the meeting summarizer.
How does it pick up the correct spelling of your name, Callum? Because that's not a common spelling.
Because it gets the transcript, and the transcript has the metadata of who said every word. So if I was in the boardroom and speaking to the boardroom mic, it would probably still know I was Callum, but it would probably spell me with 2 L's because it wouldn't have come from the Callum Teams account.
Okay, good.
Tom scored an 8 out of 10. Well done. Thorough technical explanations and important concerns about public content, and good product sense about scope as well. And his notable quote, "There's some hallucination going on. There's a few things that are correct, a few things that are incorrect." And I think it would have been very funny if that quote was hallucinated, but I think that was a real quote.
Not word for word.
Yeah. Word for word. There you go. Bubba scored a 6 out of 10. I think, Bubba, the main feedback for the AI for you was you need to try to volunteer more information without prompting. And what you do say is it can be a bit brief and requires follow-up questions. So try and offer more information up front. That's not, of course, in any way to disparage your contributions to the team, and you should not feel personally slighted in any way. Carrying on, Willow scored an 8 out of 10 and got the high impact, low airtime badge. So Willow delivered the most impactful feature of the sprint, but spoke for the least amount of time. So Willow, you also need to work on, I think, contributing more to the conversation of the meeting, because obviously you're doing good work. We all want to hear what your opinions are on everything. Scroll back up.
Insights.
Anything else? Yep, insights, elephants in the room. So obviously Stephen's been approaching a unnamed stakeholder every day for a week, but he's going to try his luck again.
Just on this, we don't really need it repeated so many times, do we? I've seen this.
We don't. You're right.
I think
it's
we need
repeating
to
the same thing all over the place. So maybe Willow, one of the prompt upgrades we can make is to, if you set it on one of the tabs, you don't have to repeat it everywhere.
Repeat them. Yeah, sure. Noted.
And that's part of the incremental improvement of this process. So that's totally fine. And I think everything else there is repeated. Next tab. This looks pretty similar to what we've already seen as well. I think we can skip this. Anything else on the last tab?
Trends.
So the trends. That's looking at what we talked about last week. So a couple of things are in progress. One of them is blocked, one of them's done. Some recurring issues. So obviously stakeholder blockages, Mac OS compatibility, refinement meeting. That's a new point. The refinement meeting fell off the calendar, I think maybe at the end of last year or something. So we need to reinstitute the backlog refinement meeting. And I think that's pretty much it.
Cool. Any questions about this dashboard?
It's pretty cool.
Cool. That's the sprint review for sprint 95 YakShaver team. We will upload the video to YakShaver YouTube and see you next time.
Thank you, sir. Good work, Stephen.
See you.
See you.
Stop recording.